This week, SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son was one of three tech executives invited to the White House to announce the, quote, Stargate joint venture that would invest billions of dollars to boost AI infrastructure in the U.S. A new book also out this week, perfectly timed, details Masayoshi Son's rags to riches story and dives into the tech billionaire's quest for success. Let's bring in that author, Lionel Barber, author of Gambling Man, The Secret Story of the World's Greatest Disruptor, Masayoshi Son. Lionel is also former editor of the Financial Times and a terrific reporter, editor, writer. Lionel, thank you so much for being here. And what incredible timing. Well done.
Well, I think I need to thank SoftBank, don't I? I mean, I did actually send an email. You can't beat it. I mean,
did you
$500
get a
billion.
reply?
I did. I got some smileys.
From Masayoshi Son?
No. I thought it would be best to go through an intermediary.
Got it. So I want to get to the Musk piece as well, but what was it like to work with Masayoshi Son in this process, interviewing him? Was he easy to work with, accessible? Was it tough to do this book?
Hard to penetrate the layers in Japan. Also, COVID was a big problem. And I did go twice to Japan and was told he was too busy. I think actually he was cooking up what we've seen this week with the big AI projects. Everybody had written him off. You know, he'd lost billions on options trading. SoftBank Vision funds were underwater, sea of red ink. So I think they thought that I was going to sort of say he's a loser.
Right.
And some of his closest associates were saying, you need to get this book done because he's going to go bankrupt. And I never thought that. So overall, I'd say they were cooperative. Yeah.
So where do you stand on this whole debate? Musk saying on X that he doesn't have the money, basically casting doubt on this whole project. What do you think about the financing for Stargate, whether it's surreal, and where is the money going to come from?
Well, Jamie Dimon described Elon Musk as Einstein. So am I going to, on this show, disagree with Jamie Dimon? Or even, but, you know, Elon is wrong on this. I think they do have the money. SoftBank has $40 billion of cash on its balance sheet. They've got stakes in T-Mobile. He's got 90% of ARM, which is going to be the foundation of this new project, the advanced semiconductor designer. And they're also going to get lending from the Japanese banks that are no longer, very important point now, no longer using real estate just as the collateral. So I think the world has changed, and Elon needs to catch up on this a bit.
Lionel, that's been part of the question, though. Do you think they will sell maybe part of their ARM holdings to finance some of this? Do you think they borrow against it? Like, there have been a lot of questions of shareholders of some of these other companies, too, like T-Mobile, trying to figure out if there's going to be a big sale of stock that they need to worry about.
I think that Masa really would like to keep his 90% stake in ARM. I think it's much more likely to borrow against. And I don't want to speak about T-Mobile, but, you know, if you think about what he did during the teens on Alibaba, he had that big stake, and he just did it in dribbles and also did very complicated financial arrangements where he could buy back the stock. So actually, I've talked to people around him, and they are confident, really confident, that he can get to, you know, 80, 90 billion.
But not 500 billion necessarily.
No, that's going to be over 4 years, remember. So
yeah,
I
it's
think
not
it's
a one check that you're right. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's the big mo. You get sort of 80 billion. He's also got partners, by the way. I mean, Sam Altman's raising money, and he's got Larry Ellison, who's good for what, 200 billion?
Yeah. And when we look back broadly at Masayoshi Son's role in tech history, he's one of these sort of zeligs of the tech world where we don't hear a lot about him in the U.S. on a regular basis, but he shows up at key moments with key people. And what should we know about his life? What should we know about his character?
Well, I like Zelig. I like Forrest Gump as well. I mean,
Yeah.
You start, you know, on the microchip, you go through the internet, mobile. He's been there. He's either wanted to buy the company or buy a piece of it. What we really should know about Masa is that he's an outsider. He's Korean-Japanese. He grew up on the edges of a shanty town. His father was a loan shark and then was in pachinko gambling. He was the king of pachinko in Western Japan. And so he's always been viewed as something of an outsider, viewed with suspicion in the Japanese corporate establishment, partly because he's Korean and also because he doesn't make anything. He doesn't make cars, he doesn't make steel. He's a bit of a gambler.
How was that?
I was going to say, and so what is the unifying talent or approach? Is it just having a nose for the next big thing and trying to ride it?
Well, he's been consistent on this huge wave of technology that's transformed our societies. And he's stayed with it. He didn't, by the way, he didn't get out of Alibaba like Goldman did.
That's right.
In 2000. He stuck with it. I think also he's a brilliant negotiator, and he's brilliant at FOMO. You know, when he was bargaining with the Crown Prince in Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, there was a great convergence of interest. MBS wanted to get into the tech ecosystem, and Masa needed, well, 45 billion.
Right.
Not chump change.
And it's incredible, given that the Vision Fund, Vision 1, hasn't been an incredible performer. Vision 2, I guess, according to some reports, has lost money, and yet he still seems to get capital from the Middle East.
Yeah, because he's been, his bets have paid off. I mean, Alibaba, Yahoo. And look, Arm, here I am, a Brit on this show. He bought Britain's best technology company, Arm Holdings, for 30 billion, and it's now worth 140 billion, and it's the foundation for what we're going to see.
He also sold NVIDIA, which if he hadn't sold would be worth about $120 billion.
Yeah, look, that was 2019, and, it was a 5% stake. So he knows that. He lost out there.